I swear, the former president, he is probably the greatest marketer in the history of presidential campaigns. He took a slight and man, did he turn it on its ear. People were in outrage. I don't know why. I just think this was brilliant. We'll touch on that and more. You're watching BS3 presents the morning shift for Colt Johnson and Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 morning shift Colt Johnson YouTube channel. You're listening to it live on the Real Wise Radio Network. And it starts right about, let me think about it now. Well, good morning, Shifter. Welcome once again to the BS3 Presents Morning Shift Colt Johnson platform, radio and TV show. Well, sit back and relax because the next 60 minutes, we're going to get you informed, engaged, enlightened, entertained, and spiritually fed. Now, along with the garbage truck known all around the presidential campaign landscape, thanks to Donald Trump himself. We're also going to touch on walking pneumonia and how that actually is starting to become a problem with children. And actually, it is becoming an alarming problem with children. And in light of the way, we're going to touch on information. How important is it? And what we should do in attaining it. All of that is for later. For now, though, that's right. For now, fry those eggs. That's right. It's time to start you up. And here's what's taking place in the world today. Across the central United States, residents and officials surveyed damage from a line of oversight storms on Thursday as some areas braced for more severe weather that could scuttle Halloween plans across the region, at least the weekend stuff. The thunderstorms came amid dramatically varied weather forecasts across the nation, with potentially record-setting heat in the Northeast and heavy snow hitting the West highest terrain. No overnight weather officials in Iowa recorded 60-mile-an-hour winds, while gusts as high as 70 and 80 miles per hour were reported in Illinois and Kansas, respectively, according to the National Weather Service. Authorities also reported downed trees and power lines across Missouri, Nebraska, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. Now, in northwest Arkansas, a small town called Prairie Grove, near the Oklahoma state line, police and local government officials reported damaged homes and widespread power outages, with only a fraction of the area's 7,000 residents still with electricity. About 75% of schools in that district were without power as of yesterday morning. Vice President Kamala Harris went back to a familiar place in the final stretch of her presidential campaign. And as she runs on preserving personal freedoms and protecting democracy, she made her pitch on Wednesday evening a few miles from the University of Wisconsin's campus, where her progressive parents participated in various civil rights causes in the late 1960s. She spoke at the nearly 10,000-seat Alliant Energy Center to a majority female crowd. Now, as president, Harris, she pledged that she would seek common ground and common sense solutions to problems, saying, quote, "I'm not looking to score political points. I'm looking to make progress." Close quote. That's a lie. Megan Thee Stallion. She is suing. That's right. She is suing a YouTuber who said that she has continued to harass her and make false claims about her 2020 shooting by Tory Lanez. The rapper's accusing Milagro Cooper, also known as Milagro Grams, of cyberstalking, emotional distress, and promoting, quote, an altered sexual depiction, close quote, of sharing deepfake pornography images of the star, according to a lawsuit filed in Florida's Southern District Court on Wednesday, obtained by USA Today on Thursday. Cooper deployed a, quote, years-long campaign of harassment, close quote, and cyberbullying against the rapper on behalf of Lanez, born Daystar Peterson, who was convicted in 2022 of shooting and wounding her and was sentenced to 10 years in prison the following year. Yeah, boy. The hits literally on that case just keeps on coming. Goodness gracious. Man. Rosie O'Donnell has spoken out about her oldest daughter, Chelsea, and her arrest in Wisconsin over the past month. In a TikTok posted on Monday night, the former Rosie O'Donnell show host expressed gratitude for the support she received from people who have been impacted by addiction. Rosie said, quote, I just wanted to thank everybody for their kind words and wishes about Chelsea. And for all the people who told me they were going through something similar with a child or a spouse or a brother or a lover, thank you for making me feel less alone. I think it's hard to be a public person sometimes, and it's hard for the children of those public people. Close quote. A federal judge is ruling that a Jane Doe accuser of Sean Puff Daddy, Puffy, Diddy, P. Diddy, Love, Biggie, Exploiter, Craig Mack Exploiter, Mace Exploiter, Love Combs must disclose her identity, or her case will be dismissed, according to federal court documents. In a ruling filed on Wednesday and obtained by USA Today Thursday, Judge Mary K. Viscasil wrote, quote, the fundamental question, close quote, is whether the Jane Doe accuser has, quote, a substantial privacy interest that outweighs the customary and constitutionally embedded presumption of openness in judicial proceedings, close quote. In a lawsuit filed in October, this Jane Doe accuses Combs of raping her when she was 19 at a Manhattan hotel 20 years ago. But the judge said the Jane Doe plaintiff in this case, quote, has now decided to file a lawsuit in which she accuses a famous person of engaging in heinous conduct, close quote, in 2004, arguing that, quote, defendants have a right to defend themselves and the people have a right to know who is using their courts, close quote. A federal judge has ruled against a Jane Doe accuser of Sean Combs, arguing that she must come forward with her name or the lawsuit will be dismissed. USA Today has reached out to lawyers of the plaintiff for comment. Combs' team declined. I wonder why. But he'll be singing in 6 months. Oh, my bad. James Franco and Seth Rogen were once close friends and collaborators, but now Franco says their bond is, quote, over, close quote. In an interview with Variety published last Friday, the actor got candid about a falling out with his former friend Rogen, while also detailing his acting comeback with a wave of, quote, Me Too sexual misconduct allegations in the 2010s. Saying, quote, I haven't talked to Seth. I love Seth. We had 20 great years together, but I guess it's over. And not for the lack of trying. I've told him how much he's meant to me, close quote. And that's what Franco told Variety in the interview. Now, Rogen and Franco, who met as teenagers in Hollywood, worked together on famous projects such as Freaks and Geeks, The Disaster Artist, Pineapple Express, and This Is the End. But in real life, I guess things have become far more complicated. For most couples, a romantic getaway includes fancy dinner reservations and sunset strolls along the beach. However, for a growing number of lovers, it also means ending the night in separate beds. According to Hilton's recently released 2025 Trends Report, 37% of people are choosing to sleep in separate beds from their partners while on vacation, a rising trend dubbed as, quote, sleep divorce, close quote. Although it may seem taboo, over 2/3 of respondents said they actually sleep better when they're alone. Amanda Almasri, a global vice president of wellness at Hilton, she told USA Today, quote, this shift highlights a growing awareness of the importance of a good night's sleep while on the road as travelers seek environments that maximize rest. Prioritizing self-care and wellness while traveling has been a rising trend for some time. Last year, Hilton's 2024 Trends Report found that the desire to rest and recharge is the number one reason people want to travel. Close quote. That might not be too bad. The following sports update is brought to you by the Playmakers Blog Network. All right, let's go to the NBA, shall we? All right, so we have Paolo Banchero, the Orlando Magic forward, who scored 50 points earlier this week. He has been diagnosed with a torn right oblique. Oh, wow. He'll be sidelined indefinitely. Now, he'll be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. That really does suck. Major League Baseball, to the diamond. The Braves, they have traded slugger Jorge Soler to the Los Angeles Angels, not to be confused with the Dodgers, for right-handed pitcher Griffin Canning. And in the NFL last night, the Jets, they spanked the Texans behind 21-13. The game shouldn't have been that close due to a fool being stupid and throwing the ball out of his hands before he crossed the goal line. Otherwise, it would be 28-13. Aaron Rodgers, 22-32, 211 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Probably his best game other than maybe the home win against the Patriots. But yeah, the Jets improved to 3-6. The Texans fall to 6-3. Now, speaking of the NFL, games to watch on Saturday. Yeah, we have the U. They're hosting Duke. Kickoff is at 12 p.m. All times are Eastern. ABC will be carrying that game. Also at noon, you have Penn State, number 3 ranked. They'll be hosting number 4 ranked Ohio State, and arch rival Game Day will be there. The Fox Big Noon Kickoff will be there as well, and Fox will carry that game. The 3:30 p.m. game will have number 2 Georgia and unranked Florida in what used to be called the world's largest outdoor tailgate party. They renewed their rivalries to Jacksonville. ABC will carry that one. And on the ACC network and ESPN, number 20 ranked SMU. They host number 18th ranked Pitt. All right, the game's on Sunday, 1 p.m. kickoff. CBS will have this one. It will be the 5-3 Broncos against the 5-3 Ravens in Baltimore. 2 4:25 p.m. kicks. Fox will carry both of the games. The first one, that will be the Seahawks against the Rams. That will be in Seattle. And another NFC divisional matchup. The Packers, they host the Lions in the maybe it might be frozen, maybe not be frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And 8:20 on NBC, you have the Vikings. They've been sliding. They're now at 5-2. They host the 4-4 Colts, who are now going to be led by Joe Flacco. That's just some rough business. That's some rough business right there. Oh, and one more thing. Congratulations to the Dodgers. I mean, that was brilliant. That was so brilliant. I'm so happy for you. But you know what I'm happier about? I'm happier that the World Series is over. Thank the Lord that it is. Now we can get back to business. And speaking of getting back to business, Turning our attention to weather across the country. It's brought to you by the Weather Channel. It will be in the Pacific Northwest, all sorts of rain with a high of 51 in Seattle. It will be mostly cloudy skies with a high of 45 in Minneapolis. Sunny and 54 in Chicago. Sunny and 62 in St. Louis. It'll be partly cloudy and 53 in Detroit. Out over the eastern seaboard, it will be partly cloudy skies with a high of 76 degrees in Boston. Partly cloudy and 80 in New York. Rainy and 80 in Washington, D.C. Down south, it will be partly cloudy and 83 in Miami. Rainy and 73 in Atlanta. Partly cloudy and 69 in Memphis. Rainy and 81 in New Orleans. Down in the southwest, it will be cloudy and 82 in San Antonio, cloudy and 74 in Dallas, cloudy and 82 in Houston. In the Rockies, it will be mostly sunny and 61 in Denver. It will be 82 and partly sunny in Phoenix. And notice that's not the hot spot of the country. That actually belongs to Tampa. It'll be 87. In Las Vegas, it will be mostly sunny skies and a high of 71. Ooh, comfortable, actually. And on the West Coast, it will be mostly sunny in Los Angeles with a high of 72. It will be F the O to G, foggy with a high of 62 in San Francisco. Well, that is the look on the weather for today. And now you've been properly started up. Coming up next, we have, again, probably the greatest marketer in the history of American politics, doing it again in a garbage truck and a sanitation vest. That's our cover story. And in lighting the way, how important is information? How important is it in getting it? And how important is it in retaining it? But coming up next, pneumonia is starting to rise hard among children. We'll touch on that on the other side. You're watching BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on Roku TV, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You are listening to it live on the Real Wise Radio Network. And we will return right after this.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Bernstein.
NBA people are the best people ever. Everything that I've ever wanted to do was always sort of pointed towards the NBA.
Daniel Jones, I don't listen, I wasn't sold on him in the beginning either.
Ben Sutter, Dan Quinn. Like, he may not be the greatest head coach, but one thing we do know is that he can coach defenses.
Mirren Fader.
If I did a biography on Hakeem Olajuwon, this is the first true international superstar.
Looking for the up-to-date information in the world of sports? The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. Live every Saturday at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. Life.
Scratching and clawing to overcome adversities in life.
Family.
That's what I love about our children. God instilled that in us, and thank God they carry on that torch.
Marriage.
We struggled in different ways, naturally, as husband and wife.
And God.
The Lord is on my side. I will not fear what man can do unto me.
Join the husband and wife team of Ben Southard Jr. and Irene Southard as they give you the full scope of life. BS3 Network proudly presents the Suds Are Us podcast, live every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central.
Well, join my brother, the information man, as he hits you hard with the hard-hitting news coverage in a news magazine type of way. The Information Man Show comes to you every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, on Roku TV via BS3 and the Information Man Show YouTube channel. That's the Information Man Show live this and every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on Roku TV. Just hit the BS3 logo on the Roku TV app, BS3TVLive.com, and the Information Man Show YouTube channel. Well, welcome back to BS3 Presents the Morning Shift for Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson. So glad that you're here, shifted to watch. But if you're here to participate and you're asking, where do I? I'm glad you asked that question. Just go to the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. That's the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel, where BS3 presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. It is live every weekday. That's right. That's right. And again, congratulations to the Dodgers. Wonderful. I'm so glad y'all did that. Your 8th ever championship. That's great. What's better, though? Thank God the series is over. I'm sorry. To Shift Nation we had. And the playmaker says, morning shift. Yay. How dare you? He says, number one, the disrespect of Bronny scoring his first career points in his hometown. Distasteful, head shifter. What do you mean distasteful? I'm sorry. Isn't he going to the G League? Yes or no? That's what I thought. Number two, Yankees need their butts whooped. You doggone right they do. Game 5, that top of the 5th inning. Yeah. Oh, and number 3, sorry that Space Cadet beat the Texans. I did pick the Jets, though. All right. To Ryan McCarthy, congratulations. Your team beat mine with that ayahuasca sipping, toe picking, agitating Space Cadet, beating my squad that seems to have the maturity of a 2-year-old. And it should have been even worse. The score should have been greater because each part of the Texans pick turns absolutely wetting the bed. Oh, he also goes on. So yeah, the Dodgers won. 1, 2, 3 throwing up emojis with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more throwing up emojis. I share the barfing with you. Now, how dare you say it was disrespectful for me to talk about Bronny scoring his first 2 career points in Cleveland? That's not his hometown. His hometown now is LA. And he's going to the G League. If you don't believe me, you can watch the show that's behind me. That's right. The Real Deal. Courtney Harden. I'm sure he'll talk about that tomorrow. But let's talk about something that's a little more important, actually a lot more important, and that's the health of our children. Unfortunately, in today's program Spotlight, we're going to center itself on the rise of walking pneumonia among children. That does not sound doesn't sound appealing at all. Cases of atypical pneumonia, also known as walking pneumonia, which is a lung infection caused by the bacteria Mycoplasma pneumoniae, are on the rise in the U.S., with children's cases rising so sharply that the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, or CDC, they issued an alert 2 weeks ago. But what exactly is walking pneumonia? Well, Dr. Matthew Isaac Harris, a pediatric emergency medicine physician and the medical director for critical care transport at the New York based Northwest Health Clinic, said, quote, walking pneumonia is a layman's term for a type of pneumonia that in medical terms we call atypical pneumonia. That just means that the patients don't follow the sort of normal course of fever, cough, and acute worsening. Close quote. He went on to say that they clinically look better than the average case, adding that these less severe symptoms can lead to a delayed diagnosis. He went on to say, quote, they have maybe a week to 2 weeks of worsening cough. Sometimes it's some fever. They don't have that classic 3 to 4 days of high fever, productive cough that you might see in the more classic pneumonia, close quote. But while cases are rising, he said, quote, this isn't a unique year. We do have these spurts of mycoplasma pneumonia every couple of years, close quote. Now, as for why it's spreading among children, he says, quote, they're constantly coughing in small classrooms or in nursery school or play groups. The things that put kids at higher risk are just their exposure to other kids who are constantly coughing in their vicinity. The spike this year happens every couple of years, and it's highly infectious, close quote. The good news, Dr. Harris says, and this is actually reported to People magazine, he said that it is, quote, very, very treatable, close quote, with antibiotics, generally azithromycin, which he explains is, quote, more colloquially known as the Z-Pack. It's once a day for 5 days. So this is not the time you're going to have to struggle with your kid 3 times a day trying to get in a large amount of antibiotics, close quote. And no matter how quickly your child recovers, he says, quote, it's critically important to complete the whole course, close quote. However, Dr. Harris also advises parents to avoid the over-the-counter cough medications. Quote, kids tolerate honey very well. Honey is a natural anti-cough medicine or medication. I would encourage parents not to use any cough medicines in children that are not approved by their pediatrician, close quote. Also, although the CDC issued the alert, Dr. Harris was saying that they're at the stage of be mindful, saying, quote, look out for those signs of respiratory distress, which is really something, again, for younger children under the age of 2. Older kids will tell you they're not feeling well, close quote. He advised parents to watch for symptoms that include things such as, I don't know, breathing faster or not drinking as much or maybe not urinating as much because the fact that they are becoming more and more dehydrated. Quote, we do not want parents to run to the pediatrician every time their child is coughing. It really is just that the cough that's slowly worsening and having low-grade fevers after a week to 10 days, not getting better. That's really the time to go see a pediatrician. Close quote. Well, our thoughts, our prayers are with those who have suffered through walking pneumonia, suffering through walking pneumonia, or you are guarding against walking pneumonia. I hope that things are fine with all of you, and I hope things are fine with your children. And that concludes today's program, Spotlight. Now, I did mention this show earlier for probably more on Bronny and LeBron James playing together and Bronny's first 2 points in the NBA and the Jets maybe rebounding over the Texans and the Eagles possibly being a power in the NFC and other things in sports. Join my man Courtney Harden and The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. It comes to you live every Saturday, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on Roku TV via BS3, the BS3 Network YouTube channel, and the BS3 Network Facebook page. That's the award-winning Real Deal with Courtney Harden. Live every Saturday, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on Roku TV. Just hit the BS3 logo on the Roku TV app, bs3tvlive.com, and the BS3 Network YouTube channel and Facebook page. Coming up next, is Donald Trump taking out the trash? Why is he dressed up in a sanitation vest and climbing into a truck adorning his campaign slogan? You'll watch it. BS3 presents the morning shift for Cole Johnson on Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You're listening to it live on Real Wise Radio. And we'll be right back right after. Yes.
Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Poppy J and Wise El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can be the black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific time zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel.
What's up, everybody? This is Information Man and the Information Man Show. Now, what I do is hard, cutting-edge analysis, assessment of what's happening in our world today, whether it be news, politics, current events, cultural issues, social issues. Commentary is what I do over here. Most of all is what we try to do here on the Information Man Show is try to get to a solution to the problems that we see today.
God, marriage, family, and life. These tenets represent these two who 42 years strong in marriage. They give you a full scope of life through the lens of a Christian-based marriage. Ben Sutter Jr. and Irene Sutter, they give you the Suds R Us podcast. They come to you live every Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on Roku TV via BS3, the BS3 Network YouTube channel, and the BS3 Network Facebook page. That's the Suds R Us podcast. It comes to you live every Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on Roku TV, just the BS3 logo on Roku TV app, BS3TVLive.com, the BS3 Network YouTube channel, and the BS3 Network Facebook page. And also, if you feel like taking a stroll, I mean an HBCU stroll, I have the man just for you. The legendary Coach Johnny Cole will take you through an HBCU stroll. The Lunch Break powered by JM&E presents Coach Johnny Cole's HBCU stroll. That happens live every Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central on Roku TV via BS3 and the Jones Media and ENT YouTube channel. That's the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E, presents Coach Johnny Cole's HBCU Stroll, live every Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central on the Roku TV, just the BS3 logo on the Roku TV app, BS3TVLive.com, and the Jones Media and ENT YouTube channel. Well, welcome back to BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson, and let's get right down to business, shall we? Someone heard that his supporters were called garbage by the president of the United States. And what did he do about it? Well, he decided to don a sanitation vest and wrap a truck with his campaign slogan. But not just any truck, a garbage truck. And today's cover No, I'm not going to do cover story style. No. No. If I hear another politician or anything in politics mention the word garbage again, I probably will have a headache that will last a month. So we heard this term garbage starting with a comedian who just is absolute whack, trying to tell a joke, but it just simply did not, in presentation or punchline, hit across the bow well. So that was Sunday. Then you had Sleepy Joe on Tuesday decide to condemn not just the comments, but the Trump supporters. And then White House staff tried to clarify. No. He was talking about the comedian. He wasn't talking about Trump. No, too late. And he was talking about Trump, which forced the former president to do the following. Yes, you see him clad in a sanitation vest. Still had the long sleeve business shirt and a tie, but he climbed inside of a truck, all downed in white, with the U.S. flag flying and the "Make America Great Again" Trump logo adorning a garbage truck. Midweek in a campaign rally in Wisconsin, after he caught wind of that, the old marketer went to town. And there were others who were saying, well, wait a minute, that's just wrong. Trump is being mean-spirited. No, he's not. You would do the same thing. I would do the same thing. He actually is taking advantage of the moment. And then on top of it, taking advantage of the moment and then saying, I represent the hardworking common man in this whole bit. I represent sanitation workers and other blue collar workers. I represent them. My stuff is catered to them. This is absolutely brilliant. I mean, he is using the stuff that he has learned in his time as the businessman in New York and the media star that he was in The Apprentice and The Celebrity Apprentice. He's using all these tools, and of course, some of the tools that he's learned being a politician for now 9 years, almost 10. Come on, when you see a troll opportunity and you take advantage of it to this well degree, all you could do is stand up and applaud it, because that's what I'm doing. I'm applauding this because that's exactly what you should do. You should take that comment and rub it in their face with it. Now, During a campaign speech this past Wednesday, when he was donning the sanitation vest and climbing the garbage truck, he had this to say in that rally, which was in Green Bay. Quote, "Her gross incompetence disqualifies her from being president of the United States. No one respects her. No one trusts her. No one takes her seriously." Close quote. I really can't say he's wrong there. I mean, they don't. Most people really don't. Oh, and the rally was also attended by Brett Favre. Trump, who was out amongst the reporters before he climbed into the garbage truck, said, quote, "How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden." Close quote. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The Harris campaign mocked the stunt. I'm sorry. I don't care. You can mock the stunt. You can lampoon the stunt. You can call them evil for the stunt. You'd be wrong for all of that. You know why? Because this is absolutely brilliant. And all you could do is stand up and applaud, because you should have said, doggone it, why did we take advantage of that? Why did we think of that? Well, it's because your campaign team doesn't, Madam Vice President, but the former president's campaign does. And this isn't a Republican Democrat thing. This isn't a right or wrong thing. This is just straight up, you are fighting for the number one seat in the United States. You're going to do everything in your power to get there. Everything. And if it means that you're going to take a slight that someone that you represent, because you do represent your boss, then so be it. So be it. You tried to do the same thing in the debate back in September. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You can't just cry in your Spielberg and say, "This man, he's rude. He's evil." No. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. You won't do that. And you can't get away with that. You know why? Because people are laughing at you as a laughing stock. Meanwhile, people are paying attention to this guy, and he's saying, wow, if I were in his shoes, I would do the exact same thing. I would do the exact same thing. I would mock them by that statement and just throw it back in their face like this. And you know what that means? It means the man is relating to people. I don't care what you think about him. That what you think about him doesn't matter. I'm just talking about strategy. This right here, this is something that many people can relate to, because they're saying, I can relate to this guy because I would do the same thing. And in a party where you would think people would say this about the opposing candidate, they're less and less saying it, but they're saying more. Madam Vice President, your campaign, definitely with the Donald doing things like this, is sponsored by the letter. Coming up next, how should we take in information? That is important. You're watching BS3 presents the morning shift for Cole Johnson and Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 morning shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You are listening to it live on Real Wise Radio Network, and it continues right after. Yes.
Eric Butler, a.k.a.
The Intellect, aka Cullinan. I'm the biggest diamond ever found on land, aka the Atlantic. Cold, deep, and choppy.
LaToya the Therapist, aka
them kids' mama, aka Jeff's wife, aka Latoya the therapist. I am a licensed professional counselor.
Beauty and Brains, clinical and principled, insightful and intelligent. BS3 Network proudly presents Perspective, live every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Central. Are you looking for something to do on your lunch break? Well, there's a show on the BS3 Network that has only 4 words to say to you.
We ready, we ready, we ready for y'all. We ready, we ready, we ready for y'all.
The Lunch Break, powered by JM&E. Live weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
Just can't tell it
Welcome back to BS3 Presents the Morning Show. Oh, wait a minute. My bad. Welcome back to the BS3 Presents the Morning Show for Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson. Glad that you're here, Shifter. And it's a privilege to be here. And if you want to join the crowd and actually be a part of it, just go to the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. That's the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. That's where you can find yours truly. And you can find this show, and we'll be glad to do our thing. That's right. That's how we roll. Now, it's time to get down to business. Information. We take in a lot of it. We understand a lot of it. But what is the role of information in our lives? I think we need to have understanding of that, and here's lighting the way. Father God, in the name of Jesus, thank you so much for being in the midst. Your word said that when 2 or 3 are gathered together in your name, you'll be in the midst. So thank you for being in the midst. Thank you for creating this wonderful day for us to enjoy and be glad in it, because this is the day you made. And also thank you for information. We're going to get to it with what you mean by information, how we gather it, how we're supposed to weigh it, how we're supposed to discern it, and what we're supposed to do once we gather it. And whatever my thoughts are, whatever my understandings and opinions of it are, may they be divorced from this message. And may it be a lighthouse in your word and not just an interpreter of it, or not even an interpreter of it at all, just a lighthouse of your word. And may the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be as always acceptable in your sight, Lord. You're my rock, my strength, and my redeemer. In Jesus' name, amen. Information is very important. How? Well, we're now locked into the final stretches and throes of many important races. the presidential race being probably the biggest of them all. But in understanding that, what is the role of information to us? And how does God understand that transfer of what information is supposed to be? And so I had to understand this and ascertain it in a way and grab it in a way that makes sense. And so I said, all right, Jesus, throw it at me. I'm not going to assume this is a wisdom thing, but I think it is. And he said, well, you would be right. And so he directed me to the seventh verse of the 4th chapter in the book of Proverbs, where it says the beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Though it cost all you have, get understanding. Again, from Proverbs 4, chapter 4, verse 7. The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Though it costs all you have, get understanding. Now, many of you probably heard it said this way: wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And with all that getting, get understanding. So why is wisdom important in information gathering? Because that's what we're supposed to discern. If the information that we're getting, is it wise, or is it producing no fruit, or will it produce any fruit at all? So we have to have that understanding. All right, so this information is important, this information is not important. And that's where we get the wisdom. When we basically, as they say, we separate the wheat from the chaff, or we separate the men from the boys. You know, we separate things that really mean something versus something that's fluff. And so that's why wisdom is important in gathering information, because we have to decipher what is the nugget in what's that nugget in wisdom that what's the nugget in information that is going to be wisdom, and what's the nugget in wisdom that's going to nugget in information that's going to produce nothing. Which leads to the next question: is there such a thing as too much information? Now, people say that there is. I say it's not. There isn't such a thing as too much information. There can't be such a thing as too much information. Now, it could be such a thing as you rely on too much information, but there isn't such a thing as gathering too much of it. And the reason why I say there could be such a thing as relying on it, it could be, okay, so this in politics, this candidate says this, and you repeat what the candidate said, but you don't say, okay, my opinion of that is da 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 da. You'd say, well, yeah, what the candidate says, that's what I think. Well, you got to get something out of it. You just can't digest the wisdom. You just can't digest the information and produce no wisdom from it. Then it makes the information that you're using worthless. Like I said, some information is wise and other information is useless. It would make that information useless if that is how you process it. Make it wise so you can learn from it and decipher, okay, this is important. So how can obtaining the right information cost all that you have? Basically, that part of scripture means don't rely on your own ability. In fact, it says it, if I'm not mistaken, it says it the chapter before, where it says, trust in the Lord to all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. And if in all your ways acknowledge him and he'll direct your path. So that's what it means by it costs all you have, meaning go to God. Rely on God for this. Don't just rely on your own ability. Don't rely on your own wisdom, because it will get you in trouble. Lean on other things, and it may have to cost you the end of yourself to do it. Not it costs you death, but it will cause a dying of self, dying of ego, basically. And that's what it means by obtaining the right information, costing you all that you have. Meaning, okay, I don't really know all of this, so let me find some material that knows this situation so I could be more informed. That's what that means. So then you'll ask this question, I guess. What is the ultimate lesson in gathering the right information? That's a really good question. The ultimate lesson that all of us should get, no matter who it is, in gathering the right information is that when you gather information, it's about the principal thing, and that is wisdom. We should acquire wisdom every chance we get. And then we should have the understanding of ourselves of this nature. I don't know it all. I will never know it all. I can't even think of knowing it all. And the moment I think I know it all is the moment that I am dead in the water, because that means that I'm relying on nothing else. I'm great because I don't know everything. And I try to find other ways to become greater because I want others. I want other opinions. I want other experiences. I want other viewpoints so that I can expand any topic. Doesn't matter what it is. So I can expand on any topic of what it is that makes me understand life better. And so we have to understand wisdom is at the center of it all. And the more wisdom we gather, the better we are and the stronger we are in the world around us. That's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate key. And we got to stick to that at all costs. All right, before we go, remember these two things. One, Bob Costas, thank you for your service. I'm sad that you have to go, but I understand that sometimes, all things come to an end. Happy retirement, sir. And we are falling back an hour. So set your clocks back 1 hour Sunday morning. So know that we get an extra hour this weekend. So with that being said, that is all the time I have. Thank you so much for joining me, Shifter. I hope everything is well in your world. Everything is well in mine. For all of us here at the BSU Network, the Coleman Media Incorporated, and the Morning Shift, I'm Cole Johnson here to say in parting, as I always do. If you lack commitment, you will never start. If you lack consistency, you'll never finish. And if you lack love, I guarantee you, Shifter, you most certainly will never conquer. Now, take care of yourselves and each other, and go out in the world and preach the gospel to the ends of the earth, because you are a blessing. How do I know that? Because you are a blessing to me, and I hope that I am a blessing to you. So have a great rest of your day, great rest of your afternoon, great rest of your evening, great rest of your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we'll do this again on Monday. And until then, I love you, Shifter. Take care, and so long.